I'd like to call the meeting of the County Board of Education Tuesday, August the 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. in order. All members are present. Open with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is delegations. We have one. Mr. Sidemore, you will have 5 minutes.
So the reason I wanted to talk to you guys tonight is because yesterday, first Monday of August, I had a reminder in my calendar to contact the school system and make sure that my kids' IEPs were scheduled. The idea was that we were going to do it at the end of the month before the school year started, get our ducks in a row, and we're ready to go. So my surprise when 2 of the people that I found out were no longer in that capacity. One of them doesn't work for the Pocahontas County school system anymore. That is a failure of communication. I shouldn't have had to find out that. And what I'm really concerned about is how many other parents who have IEPs don't know about this at all. Because they didn't have time in their day to reach out. Because they don't have time to take out your kids block Tuesday and speak to you all. I'm concerned. And I'm concerned not only because for my own kids, but for every other kid in the school system. My wife was traveling last week for work. And right after we left, that meeting up in the airport and said, please give following instructions to Duncan. And there was a big long list. I thought I'd take care of all of the plans. Because she's an excellent gardener and all these different plants that some require shade, some require sun, some require lots of water, some require no water. And she knows with long, painful experience, if she tells me to do that, it doesn't happen, it doesn't get done, she comes home all the time, what plants have to. So she said, give this to her son, he'll take care of it. It's kind of, and I was thinking about that on the way up here, because it's a worn out analogy, but it's true. Every one of our kids in the school system is kind of like plants. They have different needs. Some need more light, some need less light. Some need more soil, or sandier soil, or whatever the case may be. The special education program is there to make sure that all of those needs are met. And I've watched, and I've had my own kids through that system, and for over a decade, we have failed these kids. I don't think it's an over to say that. I've seen it through my own children's experience and through other parents. There's been a raft of people that have come in on a temporary basis, on a part basis, or we've had multiple faculty staff shuffle through leadership positions. There's been no consistency. There's been precious little communication, and it is damaging our kids' educations. So I'm standing here once again asking you to do 3 things. 1, and most important, communicate. That is your number 1 job. You have to communicate with the community and tell them what's going on, even if it's bad, even if it's, hey, this person walked out and expected, even if it's, oh, budget's not here to do what we'd like to do, or there's a problem we're addressing. We have to communicate that to the community. I feel like I come here every couple of months and say that same thing. But it remains true. The second thing you have to do is you have to provide consistency. We can't have the string of people coming in for a year or 2 years, and then someone else coming and handing it off again halfway. Records are being lost. Plans are not being implemented. Plans are not being followed through with adjustments that need to be made. It can't work like this. You have to change it. You have to do something to make this system work. And the final thing that I'll say is to Brett, Because after I found out that the people that I thought were going to be in charge of the special education system this year did not work in the school system anymore, I called the principal. And Christine Campbell emailed me back within an hour and said, here's my phone number, you give me a call if you want. I did. And God bless her, she listened to me rant and rave for half an hour at 7:30 at night. And listened to all of my concerns, gave me all the information she could. And I want to support her. I want to support all the other teachers at PCHS and in the school system to help these kids. They want to do the job to the best of their ability. They care. And I know that all of you sitting on the board realize that. I hear you talk about them, praise them over and over, and you should, because they're doing an incredible job. But they can't do it by themselves, and they can't do it without the resources and the leadership coming from the board central office. So I'm here imploring you to communicate and to provide that leadership. And as I want to, I know I've been told by state law says you can't respond to me right now. Pretty sure you can respond to me at the end of the meeting when you have remarks.
Your time, sir.
Thanks for your time.
Mr. Sidemore, I can actually respond to you. We are in a transition, and we do have a lot of work to do in special education. And I do apologize that you feel like the system has failed your students. But we are working diligently as a county office and as a team with the West Virginia Department of Education to improve our services. And I really feel like this year is going to be a different environment. And I will speak with you after the meeting if you would like to. But thank you for coming.
No delegations.
Yes, we do have some recognitions.
Haley Cummings, it's a top 5 state finalist for Service Personnel of the Year. Devin George, 6th in the nation at Skills USA National Leadership Conference for commercial roofing.
If we could all come up front. Ms. Hammond, take a picture with us. Be great.
You give me.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll have Haley come up now. Then we just board him, and then get him to answer him across the street, and we'll take a picture.
She takes them out all the time.
Thank you.
Right, how much are you going? Any you like that's what good.
One, two,
Stand up.
three. Thank you. Next, we have Devin George, and Devin is recognized for his outstanding achievement in placing 6th in the nation in the commercial roofing at Skills USA National Leadership Skills Conference.
Congratulations.
Let's get Devin first, and then we'll pull him up here so we can get his pictures. One, two, three. Mr. Taylor, would you like to
Yes.
Stat, isn't that? Oh.
It's been a long time since we got over here. Good, one over here.
Right in here.
It's been a long time since we used some school together.
Great. Congratulations, everybody. Oh, I did. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Okay, what number?
New business meeting.
New business.
Mhm.
How you pronounce that last name? Jim. Under new business. Please forgive me.
Yeah, Jill Molaski. Tony Ramirez, Jan. Yeah, Grimmy. Okay, and Kristen Briggs. Okay, you're up.
Have you right over there?
There's
So
one
you
present.
speak into the microphone so everyone can hear you. You can turn that if you need to.
That's okay. I'm just waiting for the focus.
It takes just a minute.
That's okay. I'd just like to thank the board for allowing us to speak tonight on behalf of the National Strong Observatory, Prepaid Observatory, and my colleagues, Sheldon Wazik, Chris Cree, and Joe Lusky. We're happy to announce an initiative that we're going to be supporting Wi-Fi, not only at the Green Bank Elementary School, but also throughout Pocahontas County. And so we're going to be giving you a presentation on how we eventually got to this conclusion, and then we'll just answer any questions that the board or anyone online might have. So next slide, please. So in general, pretty simple. Green Bank Elementary School, we're trying to work with them and Green Bank and National Radio Astronomy Observatory to find a solution to install Wi-Fi in the elementary school. I've already introduced my colleagues that we wrote a report together, presented it not only to our management, but also to the National Science Foundation. It was all approved. And now we're going forward with this initiative. So what's changing? The West Virginia Radio Astronomy Zone has a restriction between 2 miles within the observatory where no transmitters are allowed at all, and 10 miles, which is a little bit more relaxed, but still no radio transmitters are allowed. We're going to relax that in the coming months here. We've already done it now. Shelley can talk more about the West Virginia Radio Astronomy Zone in more detail. But basically, anywhere in the 10-mile radius now around the Green Bank Telescope and Pocahontas and Pelham counties, we're going to allow 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So historically, Wi-Fi has been restricted in this zone, so requests come in to us to go to Sheldon now, and someone says, hey, I'd really like to install Wi-Fi in my business, I'd like to install Wi-Fi at home. Sheldon very politely says that's not allowed, or it has been allowed for a better part of almost 50 years now. But we have found some solutions. The community care and Dollar General come to us. We've actually found solutions for these individual businesses. Many individual businesses or individuals themselves do not request permission. They have done what they want, and you can actually drive to Green Bank. You can drive up and down 92, and you can actually detect Wi-Fi at various locations up and down the road. So what we did was, when I took over as director in February, we took a look at the last 25 years of data coming from the Green Bank Telescope, and we evaluated that data and evaluated publications, proposals, a lot of analysis was done, and we decided that there was very low scientific risk, but a huge community benefit to open up 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. That was our conclusion. Scientists are pretty smart at putting this for the last decade, several decades now. Because we've actually been hit with satellite radio. Actually, satellite radio was 2.3 gigahertz. It's been coming down from space for a long time now, and we've doubled it. So the community engagement and the interface that we wanted with the Green Bank Elementary School and with the community was much more important to us than this particular frequency range at this point. So what do we ask you? How does this affect you? Basically, every router, pretty much that you buy off the shelf now, has 2.4 gigahertz frequency. That's not a problem. So that's going to be allowed throughout the 10-mile exclusion zone. So if you're in Pocahontas County, and especially at the elementary school, you're good to go at 2.4 gigahertz. If you already have one of these routers, great, perfect. You don't have to do anything except what we'd like you to do is work with us. Typically, routers now come with 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz as well as 2.4. So we're asking you to work with us to turn those off. Those frequency ranges are still relatively clear in Green Bay, and then the radio quiet zone, we like to try to keep it that way as best we can. There is a minimal impact of turning these off. So if you have one in your home right now and you're running 2 or 3 different networks with the 2.4, 5, and 6, you can turn 2 off. You're going to see very minimal, if any, impact on the network speed. So you can still stream Netflix, you can still stream everything that you still play video games online. It's not going to affect you. So in the coming months, we're going to have a press release that's going to come out tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of school outreach with the Green Bay Elementary School teacher night, school night, presentation to students about this. We're going to have listening sessions and presentations at the observatory itself. We have a lot of handouts. I don't know, Jill has brought a whole bunch of handouts that you can have. We're going to have an open house on Sunday, September 7th. Of course, we'd like to see everyone there at. We're going to have these free STEM activities as well as a Wi-Fi presentation on what we're going to be doing there. So at this point, just like to thank you for your attention. That's all I have to say. And if you have any questions for the policy side or the technical side or the public information side, we'd be happy to answer them.
I have a question on the technical information side. Who's the technical person? So in our school system, we have level 3 and level 2 switches, which act as our routers. And we have our Cat 6 wiring that goes to our APs. So I'm assuming we would just purchase the APs and turn off the 5 and the 6.
Yeah, that's my understanding. We're actually in conversation with Jimmy at the school just to try to make sure all those T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and making sure we're all on the same page. And basically 2.4 is available to the students and the education for whatever needs, and 5 and the 6 are turned off. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the meeting with Jimmy, he does have some access points that are available that he's going to actually start doing some testing with at the school next week, is our understanding.
Yes, we had talked about, Jimmy and I had talked about that. And at first he said, well, we're getting routers. And I said, well, we don't really get routers, but our switches are our routers. So okay, that's all.
Does this make me bring back cell phone service now?
No, that's different. That unfortunately, but the technical implementation of how it's going to be implemented in the schools we're leaving, to the school. We're here to consult, we're here to provide support, and whatever we can, but we're not going to tell you to go buy this router, or you're not going to be able to go to Green Bay and get shop and buy a router. We're open this up to the community to say, please work with us to turn on the 5 and 6, because those are still relative things, there's a lot of stuff that science that we've done there, place trying to get.
So it sounds like we should probably keep and maintain our current systems in the school.
The only school it's impacting is the elementary, middle school. All the others that already have Wi-Fi running are fine. We don't need to make any changes. The elementary, middle school hasn't had the opportunity to have Wi-Fi until now. So that's where we're working with Jimmy to make sure that the switches are set to the correct frequency.
There's only one of these.
We're the only one that's in Maui.
Everyone else is fine. You don't have to wait to do it.
But to answer your question, the fiber optic transportation is better.
We won't need the existing system.
We will need the existing system that we have. And we will have to look at the cost, because the existing system we have, we use for our total internet. So everything runs through that, not just Wi-Fi.
Right.
So this will be a pricing out cost process. It may not be something that happens instantly. It will take time.
I just like to thank you all. This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Trying to get her through the door was difficult. But persistence paid off, and then 7 of them showed up in my office. Okay.
I appreciate your call.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know, my last comment was, I want to know if you consulted Ruth Bland about this.
Don't distribute.
Okay.
Back in the day, they were trying Wi-Fi. They did, does anyone remember that? They did a test, but Ruth has been gone for two, so it's been quite a bit longer. Do you remember that? Were you here? She was here, so that was the first trial from that university.
I just like to say thank you for all your own hard work. Yes, sir. I mean, really want to help the Pocahontas County in that Green Bank area. Yeah, that we get this. Yeah, every student's with an Ethernet cord tripping over each other. That's, and I mean, the world has changed with those the regulations were within back in the 50s and 60s. The world has changed, and we have to be adaptable to that. I wouldn't, we wouldn't be making this change if it wasn't beneficial to everyone. And kind of just, the scientists will figure things out. The impact in the school, the impact in the community is just as important. And we want your support, and we want you to come to us if you need anything. We'll do the best we can to make this happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you, because the benefit to the students is huge.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine, and you teachers come down interviewing at Green Bank, thinking about taking a job at just even that 4%.
Yes.
So that's it helps them, us all in good ways.
So I was in the meeting with Sarah Greenstay coming back from the conference, and if you, some of you don't know Sarah, but Sarah started her career a long time ago and then went somewhere else, and she just recently came back, and she said her very first day, she was used to having Wi-Fi, being able to print immediately from her computer, being able to take her computer to the copier and click on the document she wanted to print. Like she said, she felt like she had taken a step back in time. And I was the same way. I was away for 22 years, then came back 3 years ago, and I felt the same exact way. So we're excited. We're very excited. We're excited because now we can collaborate in a staff meeting to share ideas and ways to use technology. Before, I would either have to take my staff into a lab if I wanted to use technology, or just send out presentations through email or whatever. So it's going to impact the staff just as much as it's going to impact the students. Therefore, that's going to also help our students. That's how we're excited.
And other than Virginia, we during COVID, a huge impact of kids that they didn't have any internet access at all, and how they had to learn. And parents had to drop into the school, had to pay for handouts, all these. And, it was a very tough pill to swallow for a lot of those kids, a lot of those families. It's like, we gotta do something better. And so for this stuff, we can help.
It's a giant step forward.
Also,
Yes, this is his work. Come back or something.
Yeah, community activities.
sure.
And,
I can't, it's all right, before Bill, when we talked about community, I can't think of a better place to go than the Mountain State Hotspot. Sad business. I couldn't have made a better name for that question. We are going to have a listening session there. Yeah, so I think that, and we're going to ask them very nicely to turn off their 5 and 6 gigahertz. And they advertise outside. Thanks. So, yeah, whatever we, just let us know. And my door's always open, email us or, and just contact me.
Wow. Yeah, we've actually shown set up a new email address to handle questions about people setting up devices. You'll see all this information tomorrow. There's a how-to page on how to set up various routers, and we're really going to try to work with the community to make sure that we're in good communication.
Bluetooth also working on 2.4. Yes.
How do you see the anti-magnetic issues out there?
I will leave a much more elegant answer to my public information. But I will say that, we've always advertised it as the national radio quiet, not a national radio. Always going to be some type of emission that's going to be happening in the area. And there is, whether you're being Green Bank, satellite communications, or being down this right now. The XM satellite radar, every car that passes by has Bluetooth and radar and Wi-Fi in it, just about any car. You have airplanes, advent airplanes flying over the side all the time, beaming all over the place. So it's already there. It's already been there. Sorry, but it's been there for a while. And what we're doing is just opening this opportunity to students to send education and to, open it to the community. And so that's more impactful for us at this point. Do you have a much more elegant? Yeah.
The many folks from that community will be in attendance at some of our listening sessions on campus.
That's wonderful, you're going to get too.
Not yet, because you all have the inside scoop. We did make all that information live on the website tonight, knowing that some of you in the meeting or who called in might want to look it up. So all that information is there right now. And so tomorrow I'll see how many people stop by the office and have things to share.
I mean, we can email.
Yes,
When we shared this back in March or something, I asked them to be quiet as much as we can because we needed to get the documentation, the websites, the email addresses, all those things set up. So that when we did have questions, we knew how to respond. And so we wanted the administration, folks to know about it, but we wanted to keep it quiet until this was set up. We're now ready. So I know it's a little bit of time, but we are ready for it. Hopefully, this would be very, we're ready for the question. You speak more like. Well, Starlink's not a question. It's also.
He's far enough away. Yeah, but it was, in answer to your question, it was interesting when we built a new device called an advanced spectrum monitor that sort of tries to detect radiation at various frequencies. And we actually did an overlay of what the 2.4 gigahertz band looked like in Charlottesville and what it looked like in the quiet zone. And they looked almost identical.
Yeah.
And so what that told us was people within a close distance to the observatory were already using that band. And so it probably made more sense to have this kind of communication to talk about, what was possible to do and what, restrictions would really help us out, and have it as a conversation and say, look, this is a good way to move forward. But noticing how similar those two were was pretty critical of saying, look, this is not a band that we are really able to use at the observatory right now. And so for ultra-sensitive folks, I think the answer would be, yeah, this radiation was here before. Yeah. It's probably not going to increase that much by making this announcement. But it is, I think, an important recognition and an important communication, and critically a way to deal with the requests from the school.
We handle all the legislation with the West Virginia Radio Astronomy Zone that's over there. They can tell us what those two folks, they tell us what we can use and what we can't. It's under our purview. So we could change when it has to do world changes. Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have your radio. Okay, thanks.
All right.
You don't want this.
Can we get a picture? Would you like a picture with the board? Over here. I'll take a picture with, I'll take a picture of the staff of the board, if that's okay. Yeah, it's good. Share it. Please, stay right there. Yes. You like to see those people, those big picture in there.
Absolutely.
It's nice to have somebody that works.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great we have the TDC in that meeting.
Yes, it is. Hi.
You come right in here.
Don't get so quiet.
Tell us where.
Hey, we're taking our pictures on our website.
Okay. Now we got to do this again.
Yeah.
I'll get the same place in.
Smell the same way.
Don't move.
Everybody look.
Thank you all so much. Absolutely. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Wow.
You all don't have to stay. You don't want to, you don't have to stay.
Carry on with your business.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We can help you all.
Thanks. These are, if you guys have any questions. Take care. Good night as well.
The school improvement updates for Pocahontas County High School has completed a review of all transcripts that have been signed by Mrs. Klein in the verification process.
That's you.
Our diplomas were mailed on Friday. The comprehensive school counseling training has been, completed. I sent some information back at school yesterday about updating their SMART goals. We're not. We have the schedule out. I have sent the schedule to our special education consultant to review class sizes and primary exceptionalities to make sure that we are best serving our students within the guidelines of policy 2419. So things are going very well. Any questions for me?
Item number 6,
Consent
agenda items.
approval of the minutes from June 1st, 2025. Approval of the agenda,
Payment of
bills subject to deletion, or other changes prior to the board meeting. Payment of vendor listing of $168,422.55. Payment of local government purchasing card, $35,748.51. July 14, 2025 employee payroll, $60,262.42. Extra duty cleanup pay for the month of June 2025, $16,439.25. Extra duty pay for the month of July 2025 is $11,899.84. Bank reconciliations for the month of June 2025, grant awards and budget adjustments. Do I have a motion? Mr. McCall makes a motion.
Second.
Ms. Hollins for second.
Any questions on any items?
I know Pamela Bennett retired this year. And she has to tell me and take care of baby. You had to hard, but it's about. It should be.
$500 time funds.
But the more we pay, so.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Item number 7, approval of service and professional personnel. See attachments discussed in Pocahontas County School. Personnel may involve an executive session as provided in West Virginia Code 6984B 2-A. Personnel exception and or 6-9A-46. Privacy exception. Majority must vote to have an executive session. No action will be taken for that executive session. Do I have a motion for an executive session?
I'll make a motion to have an executive session for personnel.
Second.
Mr. Nab has made a motion. Mr. Gibson, second. Motion carried. We will now go into executive session at 6:34. I'd like to have a motion to come out of executive session. Then Mr. McCollum made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hall, seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. We are out at 7:14. The next item on the agenda is superintendent's update. Talk discussion and review of end of year data for chronically absent student discipline referrals by subgroup, homeless subgroup, and total certified enrollment. We can do whichever you want to do. We like this around. If you want to go.
Would you mind pulling that, please? And I also printed off a copy for us because I can't see that one. Is this one, Dr. Williams? That's the first one? Yes.
Give me just a second, please, a second.
So every year, the school system has to validate their data. And that data is, how well we did throughout the year or statistically where we stand with our numbers. So I thought it was important because I had, promises in my interviews that I would keep you updated on your data and review your data with you. So when we went to the accountability dashboard, I showed you that there were some areas that we were low on. So this first slide that we have here is the end of the year enrollment. So we had 865 students in our county. 843 of those students were continuously enrolled. 360 of the students were chronically absent. 215, you see that from back there, or from here, are special education students. So I want to put that in perspective. We have 865 students, 215 students are special ed. We have 0 English learners. 598 of the students in our county come from low SES and fall below poverty lines. 12 students are students of the military. And we have 62 students that are classified as homeless. And then you can just see the enrollment by school. This is important as end of the year selection status. There is a 10th month report because this is what our community eligibility program is based on. These are the students that figures into our poverty rate. And it ties into our school hot lunch program. Next slide, please. So our next slide, and this is an alarming slide. This is something that is absolutely front burner for me. And it will be front burner for every principal in the county and front burner for Director Dunlap. We have in each of our schools, if you look back at the enrollment numbers, so Hillsborough had 77 students. Of the 77 students, 24 students were chronically absent. Green Bank Elementary Middle had 70 students chronically absent.
What's their?
Their head count is on the front slide, 196 for this particular end of the year report. Marlington Elementary had 67 students chronically absent. And what chronically absent means, they missed more than 18 weeks of school at the end of the year. And they have 209 students. Marlington Middle School had 61 students chronically absent. They have 123. Wow. The high school has 260 students. And they have 138 chronically absent. So they had about half of their students classified as chronically absent. This does tie into, seat time ties into learning time. If you're not learning, if you're not at school, you can't learn, and this is where skills gaps, the forms, and then over time, those become special education learning disabilities. So attendance is a priority with our schools, with our principals, and with our directors in this board office. It also ties into funding. The average daily attendance rate ties into some of our step 7B funding. There's some of those years you see $100,000 less, $200,000 less, $600,000 less we're getting in state aid. It's because our students are not here to get accounted for on the average daily attendance rate. The next slide is our end of the year discipline for 24-25. So we had 1,469 discipline referrals. Now remember, we have 865 students. So we're averaging quite a bit of discipline referral here. We had 13 bullying reported. And what's really 347, I can't even read that. Total number of students were disciplined. So that's over half of our students got a discipline referral throughout the year. We had 177 students put in ISS. We had 19 students that were put in OSS. We had 97 IDEA students that received referrals. Then we have 8 students that, I don't know why I can't read this. We have 8 IDA students that were in OSS and 60 IDA students that were in ISS. If we go over to the schools and we look at them, the thing that has me the most concerned is level 3 discipline referrals. Those are more serious discipline referrals, and we have quite a few in every school in the county. This is something that I'm bringing up both of these things because 4373 is something that is outlined in our special education monitoring as a problem. The types of referrals that we have, the number of referrals we have, and the types of students that are getting them, because we're not doing our functional behavior assessments, nor are we doing our behavior interventions. So the next part of this, I added this on today because I wanted you to see performance. This is your performance last year. So for last year in your performance, the blue is your mathematics performance by grade level. So we have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th grade. The 9th and 10th graders are not assessed, nor are the seniors. So you can see your performance levels and what they are. Then the next slide that we have here is the general summative assessment from 25-26 and the performance of those grade levels. So in a different presentation, I'm going to explain to you why. Slide.
Next one.
Why those performance levels? So we have not on standard, partially meet standard, and exceed standards. The blue is the exceeds, the green is the meets, and then you have your overall percentage. So for 4th grade math, we have 65% of our kids proficient or higher. 7th grade math, we have 55% of our kids proficient or higher. 6th grade math, we had 68% of our kids proficient or higher. 5th grade math, 64% of our kids proficient or higher. 3rd grade math, 71% proficient or higher. And then, 5th grade is down here. That was 8th grade up there. 54% proficient or higher in math. Then we're going to go. Next slide is our ELA performance by grade level. Again, we have our 8th grade ELA, 64% proficient. Our 3rd grade, 55% proficient. Our 3rd grade, 71. 6th grade, 67. 7th grade, 55. And 4th grade, 63. Now, here's the caveat to these scores. These are the students that were in the building that took the assessment. These are not the students that count for accountability. Because did you notice that discrepancy in the number of students we count as continuously enrolled and number of students that were there? They will pull all of those students out and these scores will drop. because they won't count in the scores. So once they get the 100, they're going to have to do the calculation of 133 days. So the official report comes out actually on August 13th at the state board meeting. Next meeting, August 19th here. For our high school, our 11th grade performance. The first one that you have here is math. Both benchmarks, one benchmark, or met no benchmarks. So this area right here means they're not approaching grade level, they didn't the benchmark. Then the next colored section is they met one benchmark. The smallest section, which is completely colored in, says they met both benchmarks. So the school had a 22% proficiency rate for meeting both ELA math benchmarks for college and career readiness. Then there, the district, you can see the state, the US level globe testers. On the next page, I've broken it down by reading and by math performance level. So for reading, the district had 43%, 41% of their kids that met benchmark or exceed benchmark. For math, the next slide down, we had 27% that met the benchmark. The problem that I see with math and reading at the high school level is for math, we have 71% of our students not yet approaching benchmark. So we have a tremendous amount of work to do in our mathematics programs to get our kids on the grade levels. So I wanted to give you that update and give you an opportunity to ask me any questions that you have about end of the year last year and performance this year.
So, which you may get hurt earlier to deploy some of those. So you think of that actual wasn't prediction.
Yeah.
Have you showed this to our math coach?
I just now got access on Saturday. I emailed the State Department executive director and said I need access and started disaggregating your data. I found some clear holes in standards that we are pervasively low in, starting in third grade one all the way through the 11th grade assessment. We'll have to look at that assessment, look at our instructional materials, and look at our teaching strategies and kind of figure out, what is some instructional materials may have a 70 or 80% alignment. If the teacher teaches that book, that they may not even teach that standard because they did adopt some things that were not in the 100% match. So we just really have to dig into it and kind of figure out what the problem is.
This is a great evaluation. Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? That's all I have for that portion of your presentation.
Old business update and discussion on school project follow-up to training Dr. McCall. We'd like to present each Pocahontas County board member a certificate at the August 13th West Virginia State Board of Education meeting, and it starts at 9 a.m. Do I have a motion? Mr. McCall made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
This is Dr. Hollingsworth second.
So we want to talk about the projects first.
Yes.
Christy, can you get us past the Pocahontas County High School to the first slide that says Marlinton Elementary, please?
It's in this presentation. Though.
Yes.
Okay. It takes just a second to get.
Mr. Gibson went up to the high school and he took some pictures, but they didn't come through. But he's gonna go up there and he's gonna be the best host he can be and say all the words after we get our little presentation slides up and tell us about. He's had a couple of work parties and I think we're progressing nicely at the high school. We ran into a complication, a small complication, but we're overcoming that. one day at a time, right?
We waited a time like eating an elephant.
Yep, it's one day at a time. So, okay, she's pulling it up now. So once you're getting that pulled up, you want to give an update on the high school, Mr. Gibson?
Let's see, where do I start? We were going to do a simple install laminate 3 in our office spaces. Guys went up, started taking the carpet out. Carpet was moved to floor tile. Floor tile started coming up, turned out to be asbestos. So we ended up with an asbestos abatement program going on that will be starting Monday, the 11th. Now that's the earliest date they can start having the carpet on floor tile out. We've had a work party yesterday, call it a party if you want to. I scattered up as many people as I could. Extra head custodians asked to report to the hospital, and they emptied out every office, the main office, the guidance office, safe, storage closets. I mean, everything's ready for them to come in and start tearing stuff out on Monday. Quite a bit of effort and a lot of hands on deck, so we got that taken care of. So they're going to probably come in Friday to do the containment system. That way, whenever they start, when they come in on Monday, start doing floor tile, taking it actually up, then we'll have to worry about trying to set up containment. That's going to buy us a day or so of time, which will allow us to hopefully get the laminate floor back in and everything back in the office, get back to normal before school starts. In the middle of that, we're trying to do some bathroom renovations. Do you have any idea where the floor came from? Well, I got support for the moment at the high school. Yeah. Was it come from? Has it makes ever happens or making sure how it is? I've contacted them, so I'm trying to trace that down. Chances are matching it, it's not gonna happen, since been 15 years ago probably or whatever. But anyway, we're taking countertops out, the cabinetry out, there's places there's not floor tile on the floor. So we're trying to match some of those places we can, but we're doing access power. So maybe it's ceramic tile. We've place all boxes of front porch, that's sinks, straps, mirrors, you name it, trying to remodel bathrooms. We're working on those. We have decided we're going to do 2 at a time. We can't just rip them all out and eventually we get them all back. We got to still need bathroom facilities, so do 2, get those done, move on to the next 2. They started painting the office today, main office. Dispersed distributor, so things are progressing. It's been a challenge, but it's
In addition to that, I'm sure everyone saw on Facebook, I have put out the RFP to have the gymnasium painted. We did not get any interest in that, so I spoke with our new SBA representative, Mark Miller. And he's going to amend, since we're going to pay for it, he's going to be able to amend our SBA project, add that in and find somebody to do that for us. So I'm really excited about that because when I told him, I said, we're really sad. We're getting this new beautiful gym floor. We wanted the gym to just convey how proud we are of our school and our students to come in. So he is taking care of that for us. So I think I think the high school is just going to be an absolutely beautiful project, and it alone is going to build student culture and staff culture and just be a great place to learn. So we're excited about that. We went to all the other schools, so no one felt like they were left out in our facilities needs assessment. I toured every school with every principal in the county. And this is some of the things we're going to work on at Marlton Elementary. On the steps, you can see the second picture, lot of black duct tape. The most creative use of duct tape in this county I've ever seen. So we're going to repair those steps, remove the duct tape. We can do better than that. We're going to have some painting projects that we're going to do there because over time we've lost track of what our color was, and we put some other things in there. And that's just not good for morale. I mean, we're a school system. We want to look professional when our kids come in. We want to have the best possible environment. So that's on our list to do. And we also had some front work. Go back one more. Back with me. We have, I've asked Mr. Gibson to make sure the lawn's mowed. We got some new rocks in there. We got our shrubs trimmed, looking really good. Mr. Gibson, would you like to say anything about that?
Well, we don't have the rocks yet, but you know, we're planning on it. You know, there's some work still needs to be done in the playground area. And we had the board demo, we had to come back in, do backfill, grass seed. There's one section, there's still some chunks of brick and block and whatever needs to come out. Just takes manpower and time.
As those panels that we put up there, are they still laying in the park?
They are still laying ever close to the edge of the old board site. We need to get those moved too. But we still need something to designate, this is the playground, this is the parking lot, this is the track. And we do need a permanent fence of some sort down through there. We've, I think the LSIC was going to order a shelter put on the playground. Commissioner Assessor was going to take care of that. I think she may have ordered it, but I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her for a while about it. There's a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things happening.
There is.
Everything takes time.
For Mr. Gibson, I know he hates to hear my little heels click until it's over, but nonetheless, they do. Next slide, please, Christy. So this is Green Bank Elementary Middle School. Their school is fantastic. I mean, what, well, have, the artwork in the school, but we have this pipe in the bathroom that we fixed that. We have some tile along the walls that needs to be fixed and in the floor. So those are the types of things we're working on there. They have a hodgepodge of landscaping out front for the rocks. We're going to make sure those match and they look good, clean up the outside. Not that it's not beautiful already, because it is, but we can do a little bit better there and get these things fixed up too, because they're just small things. These are static, but we're going to work on it. Mr. Gibson.
New toilets sitting on the front. These, this floor drain, this is happening in Green Bank School. Probably for several years now, it's been happening. It's like the drain lines are pushing up. And don't understand why. I mean, if they're not coming up, then the rest of the floor's settling. Something's happening. So we end up having to come in, take tile out, chip some of this out, put a new floor drain hub in, and then, do some repair work on, put the tile back. They have done 2 or 3 of those back in like in the locker room areas. And this one surfaced in the kindergarten room over the last few years. So we're going to be addressing that and even that material things on the front porch too. And some of the floor tile, like we're missing chunks, that's already been replaced here in the last couple of weeks. So things are progressing. You can't just focus on one school. We got 5 schools to try to take care of and share the wealth. So.
So Hillsborough Elementary did not have a lot of needs, but again, with the tape.
Well, this is a clear packing tape.
This is packing tape. They've elevated their game a little bit there, or maybe de-escalated their game. I'm not really sure.
We got grilled.
But we are gonna replace their countertops. It's all taped up. That's an easy fix for us. And they did ask for, they had a couple of bathroom stalls that I didn't get a picture of. We're gonna replace that. We're gonna assist with the air conditioning installation. And then this is not a project that'll be done right away. This is a project because for me, aesthetically, curb appeal is everything. And the way those gym windows look, you pull up, makes me feel like this is a vacant building. So I asked Mr. Gibson to say all the materials and supplies and what we need to do there and give us a little plan for that, Mr. Gibson.
Well, I guess years ago, and I don't know when this took place, I think they spray foamed over these old windows. And it looks like they put like aluminum fiber roof coating on them, to seal the spray foam. And like I said, I don't know how many years ago that happened, but you see chunks are starting to come off, so we're just gonna have to address it. Maybe take it all off and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Or, I think those are the old metal frame windows, probably single pane. They've never been up to look.
Giant, that's a giant window.
They are, yeah.
It's like-
And very likely, the caulking that holds these glass in could be like what was in the old world, like asbestos. So you might be doing something to cover them up or try to take them out. Because if you don't disturb them, you're good.
I'll tell you, put that band in here.
You put it in?
We did on the floor and all that stuff.
Okay.
So we did,
How long ago was that? Just curious.
80, 85, 86.
4 years ago.
So the middle school, we don't have any pictures in here for the middle school because they did not really have any glaring needs, other than they requested some lockers, and that's a needs assessment, because that's a very, very expensive project. It would require an RFP and many other things. So I have spoken to a couple of the folks from the School Board Association and mentioned that to them. But, other than that, that school is, just looks fabulous. I mean, it's one of the, it's one of the newest.
It's one of the newest, yeah.
One of the
But
newest
it's
schools,
40 years old. You
but
know,
you can still tell.
we're looking at the roof for it. We did a MIP request for it and for this year for a new roof, and it was denied. I talked to Mark Bill with the SBA and Bob said, sorry about your roof. There was other schools that had water running in, we all didn't, so they took precedence. He said, throw it at us again, we'll try it. So
And we are going to do landscaping up in the front of that school too. They have a lot of, it's just simple things. I know it's not a big deal. But where the concrete is, the weeds growing in it are not trimmed and the bush is not trimmed. That tells a story about our schools. When I think the school should be the shining star of the community, everyone should say, hey, that's the school system there, and just really look at them, and we should glow. So we're going to do some of those things as well. I can't think, for the central office, I have not put an RFP out yet. Because I wanted to wait till we had all the things in place and had the gym squared away, because really getting that gym painted is number one to me. So the RFP will go out for the county office in the next week or so, because I feel like we've gotten our extra help now. We have our materials ordered, and we have our ball rolling with all the other things. So now we will focus on the county office renovation. Mr. Gibson, do you have anything else you would like to add?
I was just looking at the list right here. The blinds, that's sort of taking a backseat to everything else that's going on right now, because in the background, I've got the boiler down at Hillsborough Elementary School. I have a water heater that's down at the Merle Middle School, so there's other things we're taking care of too. Let's see. The window numbering system, I'm actually meeting a guy at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is going to be started tomorrow. The art room, they've already, while we had the work party, they've already flip-flopped those 2 rooms and the majority of the heavy stuff. So it's back in the old location. Rekeying for the schools was off grant. I was supposed to meet Tim Benoit Friday. The Hillsborough, he's going to start it. So this is going to start happening. So a lot of things have been in the background, but in the background, being worked on, finally coming to fruition, which is making me feel a little bit better about some things. It's been a long road. So things are starting to happen. Right now, we do have a bathroom, two of the bathrooms at the high school torn out. They should be starting to paint those. It's just a matter of putting a few sinks back in and replacing some tile, that kind of thing. So hopefully it'll all come together. Asbestos removal, this is going to come out of this area too. That's that little hallway beside the gym, or beside the stage, out of the gym going toward the math room. It's also got asbestos tile in it. It's going to be removed as part of it. A lot happened.
How are we going on the boiler?
The boiler at Hillsborough, I've got some quotes in on it, and they're all across the board. Dr. Wicks and I'll talk about that. We're going to try to address that here in the very near future. We probably have maybe 4 to 6 week lead time on it. 4 to 6 weeks down to September.
I think we'll have it in the fall.
Yeah, we're gonna have, we need heat in the middle of October probably, so that's got to happen.
Yeah.
Good sleep is what you get.
Oh, yeah.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gibson. Is anybody else questions? Any other questions for Mr. Gibson?
I have one other thing. What would it cost? And then that's it. It says, as I drove up and I look around, we've got a pile of stuff in it. Yeah. From that in here.
Since we,
I know, but what would it cost us to get a storage building or something?
It's great.
I hate having it here unsecured.
Oh, yeah. We have neighbors.
What's an annex building?
Name is full. There's storage up there.
Why is it delivered?
Well, that was one of the things, when I wanted to deliver to the high school right here. So it just happened, but we'll take that to community.
What is the stuff in the annex building worth keeping? Is it something we got?
I think there's one room out there, storage, that, I know Mr. Cover is one to use for, athletic director. He said that use some of that, room, utilize it for his like office area. There's books, desks, you name it, it's just surplus that. I want to say it's bad stuff and some of it's not good stuff. We just need to try to improve.
There's also several offices out there, Mr. Grimes. There's, youth health is out there, the technology office.
Well, I think community care is out there.
Community care is out there.
Well, there's a-
Out there.
There's,
They can't go facilities out there.
No lock on the, one of the doors.
wide open. I mean, there's no lock or anything on it.
That's boring.
Yes.
Have people in here frosting.
No,
Wrote it up.
Sorry.
No, seriously.
And you go.
that's what we get along.
So I do want to say that, as your superintendent, new superintendent, first priority was to walk through the schools. Mr. Gibson and I will visit every inch of every campus and we will decide on what needs to be cleaned out, what needs to be sorted out. That will be on my list. But first, Mr. Gibson has all of these projects and I'm helping him as much as I can. I'm really, proud of him and we are working well together. So we will get to the other buildings and sort them out eventually.
Things that have happened over years, get straightened up with like that, so.
Run with the day, right?
If, I'd like to look, use some kind of a storage material drop offs and get scared.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
We'll look into that. For
Yeah,
sure.
some of the stuff here is other schools as well. That will get just possible. But
I got.
So I've been talking to class buildings building. But possibly one of those storage.
that's the thing, because that's a big issue.
I've never had it.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about containers.
Oh, yeah.
They're,
Once they said, you gotta have a crane to move.
Yeah.
I think a building would be great because we have.
why couldn't the carpentry class build a building?
I know they got a lot of projects in the works right now, but that would be a possibility.
You know, that would give them experience.
Right.
And you used to do that.
Oh, yeah, I did. A couple of buildings a year, usually.
Houses, you get houses.
I built 2 modular houses up there.
I'd like to see it somewhere here.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but
Sure, that's the same, so once we pull in right now.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about it disappearing. I know we have security cameras and stuff that don't, that's just so they can wave, we can say, okay, yeah, we see you, but.
you're right. You're right. Okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Weeks or Mr. Gibson? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Now, you know, by saying aye, you have to be at the State Board of Education meeting on August 13th. You'll be there. Gotta be.
That is my anniversary. I will.
You can buy the thing. Doesn't have anything to do. Willing to come to. That's the next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. It is August 13th.
Here?
No, it's in Charleston at the State Board of Education. And it is pretty important that we be there. I'll drive, you join ride with me. You can get in the back seat.
I was told that was my anniversary. I was not glad.
Well, you know what, as many that can come as possible, and I understand that it's your anniversary.
But I can see, maybe I'm talking. Maybe she wanted to,
That's what I said, we'll take her too.
Take her out to dinner afterwards.
Easy now, you're getting in the pocketbook, man.
You can drive down the night. It's cool.
So this is for, what is this for?
This is for our presentation for the Board of Education. Dr. McCall is going to submit, give you your certificate for advanced Algebra support training.
But that's when the State Board of Education will make its decision on Pocahontas County Schools.
So
That's why I say it's a citizen.
The extension.
The more support that we have there, I think the better off we are. They're not gonna take care of our schools the way we do. We're- All right, where did we stop at? That's discussion. Huh?
We're gonna go back and vote.
We got both personnel, same personnel, I don't see it. Number 7. Five, six.
Seven, I don't even have seven.
You were getting.
You want me to do it?
we went in, so I make a motion to go into that.
Yeah. I gave you the pages, I'm sorry.
Pages somewhere. Some of you yours.
Number 7. Okay, we got read number 7. Yeah, approval of services and professional personnel. See attached. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Dr. Hollingworth made the motion, Mr. McComb seconded. Okay. Now, we're ready.
Personnel agenda for August the 5th. Professional transfer of kindergarten to first grade, Sarah Brown. She will be leaving the kindergarten, going to the first grade. This is the new format, which will show us where they were and where they're moving to. The requested transfer of Devin Gum from teacher to fourth grade, teacher of kindergarten, Green Bank Elementary Middle School, effective to the 25-26 school year. Resignation previously of Aaron Ball, employment of Kimberly A. Calafaro as ELA teacher at Green Bank Elementary Middle School, effective for the 25-26 school year, and there has been a successful background check on that individual. Requested transfer of Alexander Hummel. This is where Mr. Hummel went to the high school full-time. Dana Musil as music teacher, director at Marlington Middle School, Marlington Elementary School for the 25-26 school year. Resignation of Eleanor Bale as science teacher at Green Bank Elementary Middle School, effective August the 1st. As you go down through these positions are the professional positions that have not been hired for the county president. Director of Personnel, Student Services, the central office, teacher of fifth grade at Marlington Elementary School, teacher of multi-subjects, fourth grade, Green Bank Elementary Middle, teacher of multi-subjects, another fourth grade at Green Bank Elementary Middle, teacher of special education, Green Bank Elementary Middle, teacher of science, Green Bank Elementary Middle, counselor at Green Bank Elementary Middle, teacher of alternative education, interventionist, Marlington Middle and Green Bank Elementary Middle, teacher of social studies, Pocahontas County High School, a special education teacher at Pocahontas County High School, the second special education teacher at Pocahontas County High School, the assistant principal position at Pocahontas County High School, teacher of special education, elementary multi-subjects at Hillsborough Elementary, and then the resignation of Christian O'Brien as the director of special education, preschool and student support services at the central office. Under service recommendations, we have the resignation, retirement of Renee Hill that we approved previously, requested transfer of Teresa Clover from the ECAT special education classroom bus aide, first grade, Green Bank Elementary, to the assignment of the kindergarten classroom, subject to reassignment by the superintendent and principal as needed. Resignation of Lisa Johnson as a special education aide at Pocahontas County High School, effective August 3rd, 2025. The requested transfer for Teresa Clover to kindergarten. We will employ Kayla Van Huber as special education classroom bus aide assignment to the student aide, Green Bank Elementary is subject to reassignment by the superintendent and principal as needed. Transfer of Alan Taylor, the request for transfer of former Alan Taylor, run effective for the 25-26 school year. Employment of Stephanie Ames as extra summer custodian for special projects effective July 21st through August of 27th. Assignment by the maintenance director. Brittany Place rescinded her summer custodial. Employment of Jason Place as extra summer custodian for special projects effective August 4th through August of 27th. Assignment of the maintenance director. We have not filled the positions in service personnel, special education, classroom, bus aid, Pocahontas County High School, the accounts payable at the central office, or the secretary to accountant to Greenback Elementary Middle School. And I just want to make note of that. On some of these positions, the postings, especially on the service personnel side, don't come down until tomorrow. So we didn't have names ready for you tonight, but we'll have those at the next meeting. Extracurricular recommendations, resignation of Brandon Hammonds as the head baseball coach at Pocahontas County High School. The new coach position, Crystal Kerr, is the head volleyball coach effective for the 25-26 athletic season as a $1 coach. New coach position of Heather Kerr is an assistant volleyball coach effective for the 25-26 athletic season as a $1 coach. Resignation of Chastity Taylor, the employment of Fred Cover as athletic director for Pocahontas County High School effective for the 25-26 athletic year. We have positions with the limited athletic trainer. We're in the process of that one, but has not been hired presently. The assistant basketball coach at Pocahontas County High School, the head baseball coach at Pocahontas County High School, and we now also have added the head basketball coach at the high school will be posted this coming morning. Other recommendations, Tessa Gum has requested unpaid medical leave at Greenbank Elementary Middle School effective August 28th, 2025, should be for a period of up to 12. And then as normal on the first agenda in August, we have the hiring of substitutes in all. But then someone question about one of the meeting because they got to superintendent.
So, list, I guess we do, we're going to, it's all package deal. I do have something that's on me that's, I don't see it right here. Oh, ECAT. What's ECCAT? What's ECAT?
The shout outs aids that we have required in third grades. Third grades is that. And we are required to have those in pre-K and kindergarten.
Okay.
So there.
Any other questions?
Sorry to see Eleanor fail.
Me too.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Item number 10. No, that's Greenbank Observatory. Item under B. We're on to item number B. Local School Improvement Council Training Policy 2322. Discussion and permission to place policy 5136, personal electronic devices out on common. Decision and permission to take policy 7440.04, staff technology acceptance and safety, and E is review and discuss of education thematic findings, county report, Western Department of Education. Do I have a motion? Mr. McCombs made a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. McNabb seconded. We're going to go B first.
Correct.
Let's discuss B.
I have citation for you. According to code 18-5A-2-3A, it is required that the Board of Education members, the principals, and the schools are trained on the LSSE process annually before September 15th. So this is your official training for that process. And what we are just going to look at and talk about is what the procedures are. So this is the policy that governs accountability in school interventions. We had a partially meets standard on this on our accountability report. So I pulled it and I looked for all the criteria to make sure that we have a meet standard at the end of this year. So per the West Virginia Board Policy 2322, County Board of Education members must be trained on the development and the operations of the LSI, the local school improvement councils. This training that we are having today will meet those statutory requirements in law. So what is the membership? And I'm going to kind of tighten this up a little bit with the principals because there is a principal's toolbox. There's documents they should be using and a process that should be in place. So the principal who serves as the ex officio member of the council is entitled to vote. They're on the LSIC. They have to have 3 teachers elected by the faculty senate. I will be sending an email out to all the principals to get those election of those so that I have those. 2 service personnel elected by the service personnel employed at the school. 1, and it used to say shall, it says may, be an bus operator who transports students enrolled in the school, but it does not have to be a bus operator anymore. The membership is 3 parents or guardians or custodians of students enrolled in the school elected by the parents, guardians, and the custodians. They have to have a process in place in which that election is taking place in their school. And then all the areas that have been struck out are changes in the code. So I just wanted to document that so you can see it of students enrolled at the school. So your members have to be from your school population. 1 may be a representative of a parent teacher organization. Under no circumstances may a parent member of the council be employed by the school system. There's a lot of school systems that was doing this around the state. They would have teachers that had kids in the school and say, oh, this one counts. It does not count, and they cannot use those folks as members of their council. LSIC membership at large, 3 at-large members appointed by the principal of at least 1 who resides within the school attendance area. So the principal can appoint 3, 1 has to reside within the district of the school. In the case of a vocational technical school, comprehensive middle school, or comprehensive high school, the vocational director or the principal, as applicable, shall appoint up to 4 additional members on their LSIC, and that's probably for large schools. I don't imagine that happening in our schools. In the case of a school with students in grades 7 and 8, 7 or 8 or higher, they may choose to have a student on the LSIC, and that probably should be the president of the student council if they have one of those. The LSIC membership, the principal shall arrange for the election of the members to the LSIC School Improvement Council to be held prior to September 15th. So our principals have some fast work to do to make sure their LSIC is in place. Of each school to elect the council and shall, that means they have to do this. Notice of the election at least 1 week prior to the elections being held. That means they can't say, hey, we're electing somebody 24 hours or 5 hours, get to school that day. Remember, they have to go away. So as soon as they get back, they actually have to start this process. Parents, guardians, custodians, teachers, and service personnel elected to the council shall serve a 2-year term. An election shall be arranged in such a manner that no more than 2 teachers, no more than 2 parents, and no more than 1 service personnel are elected in a given year. So that means they have to have cycling elections, just like the board has to have cycling elections. Membership council members may only be replaced upon. I thought this was very interesting when I trained the Berkson County staff on this last year, and I still find it interesting that council members may only be replaced upon death, resignation, failure to appear at 3 consecutive meetings of the council for which notice was given, or a change in personal circumstances, meaning they move outside that school and they don't live there. So council members are pretty much there unless there's a severe circumstances.
To die.
In the case of a vacancy in an election position, the chair of the council shall appoint another qualified person to serve the unexpired term, and then after that term expires, they may replace that individual.
If somebody dies.
Yes. Okay. Getting organized after September 15th. It's the principal's responsibility. It rests on their no later than October 1, the principal shall convene in writing an organizational meeting. Members must be notified 5 days in advance. I like for them to put that on their website. I've also asked in the past, when I was supervising this, for that to be put in the newspaper. The principal shall convene. Members will be provided the following: the current applicable sections of code, state regulations regarding the operation of council, information as may be developed by the Department of Education on the operation. So if anything changes there, they have to give information about student performance and progress. The council shall elect from the members a chair that will serve. The council chair position becomes vacant for any reason, the principal will call a meeting to elect another council chair. And meetings have to be once every 9 weeks and have to be published in advance 5 days. So with that said, I wanted to train you about this. And I know that we all are invested in our students and in our children, and we want the best possible performance of our schools. So I would like permission, or I'm going to arrange under our school improvements portion of our agenda that every principal in their local school improvement council will report out 3 times a year instead of once a year on student performance. We have a benchmark that we have to pay within the first 30 days of school. They will report out on performance, areas of concern, and their plan to address it and increase student performance. They will report out on attendance and its discipline, the plans that they have at school to address that within the means that they have. So we have to organize our staff, have to have the mindset that we're keeping our eye on student achievement. We don't just say students are the number one thing. We prove they're the number one thing by having our eye on performance. I will get that scheduled together, work with the principals at Principals Academy, and provide that to you, because I think it builds a great relationship between the schools and the Board of Education when we have discussions about our kids and what we're doing and how we're helping them. It makes a big difference.
So 3 times,
3 times a year.
3 reports.
And those reports in code has to be on parent and community involvement, the learning environment, student engagement, attendance, support for at-risk students, curricular offerings, resources, and the capacity for school improvement at their school. And that's actually in code, what LSIC should center around. And we will do that when we give our benchmarks 3 times a year. At first, it seems like a lot, but after we get into it, it's important. All right, that's all I have for that. No.
Discussion and permission would be C. Discussion and permission to place policy 136 personnel electronic without any comment. And that's going to have a motion. Do I have a motion? A motion. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Mr. McNabb, second. You want to explain that a little bit and we'll.
Yes, so, when I gave you the legislative updates, one of the things that we have to put out on policy is how we are going to deal with personal electronic devices in our school system. That includes cell phones, smartwatches. So that's why the language of this has changed. We worked with Neola So they had a policy template that I went through and I selected, you can see the things that changed in option A. And if we go to back, I think the most significant thing is how this policy spelled out, which is required in state code, how we will deal with students that have cell phones at school and what that disciplinary procedure looks like. So we have the violations. So at the school, the first offense, the device will be confiscated and returned to the student following a conference with the teacher and or the principal and parent notification. So that means that if you take a device and the student has it out, the principal absolutely has to contact the parent. We have to have a conference and then the student's phone can be returned. Second offense, the device will be confiscated and returned to the parent and guardian. The student will be assigned appropriate discipline as defined in the school discipline matrix for habitual violation of rules. Third, the device, offense. I'm missing a page. The third offense leads to the student being disciplined appropriately according to the school discipline code, which could be ISS or eligible suspension. And then any student that refuses to hand over or surrender their cell phone or their personal electronics device to a teacher or administrator attempting to confiscate it in pursuit of this policy constitutes insubordination and will be punished according to the guidelines outlined in West Virginia Policy 4373. The policy template had it broken down by middle school, elementary school, and high school, but I really just feel like we need to be consistent, have one matrix for how we're going to do that.
The perfect time as this green recommendation. I mean, this is right on. It's perfect time.
And that this is required by state laws to have that now. Do you want to go to the next one?
Well, we can vote on this. All those in favor of this policy, signify by saying aye. This is the put it out of public comment. Yeah, for such a process.
Yeah.
Now, D is discussion and motion to place policy 7540.04 staff technology accept use and safety.
So this policy is also required in state law. And this is to talk about how we are going acceptable use of technology for staff in our district. We're a little bit late getting this one out, but as we go through this, I'm not going to read it all. This talks about internet usage and what you can use the internet for. This talks about personal device usage and what you can use those for. It talks about use of AI, what AI can be used for. It talks about consequences for hacking, harvesting data, privacy and data mining, cyberbullying. It covers all those things that staff should not be doing, especially using our network, and it covers during school time.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
I have a question on that. That was just staff. What about kids hacking stuff?
That is a section in here, there's a section in this other fund, the first policy for the kids.
If we're going to B, review and discussion of special education scientific findings, county West Virginia Department of Education.
So at the Department of Education, the Board of Education on August the 13th, I would assume that they're going to talk about special education in the system. And there were some things that were systemic, meaning that they were pervasive across all schools and that we need to work on. And there is a plan to work on everything that's here. And I have a handout for you from the Principal's Leadership Academy, what I've planned and what I will present to the West Virginia Department of Education to address this. So the first one is, if you go on to the next one, prior written notice. We had blank fields in our IEPs where we had not done prior written notice, which is a violation of the student rights. Going to the next one, evaluation procedures. We have evidence that each noted area of concern has been evaluated and is documented in the evaluation report. But we did have some timeline issues, not meeting the 80-day timelines, the 30-day timelines, or the 365 reevaluation timelines. ESY services. ESY services are related to the critical skill identified in the previous IEP or IEP team determines the needs. So ESY services are not related to critical skills that we identified. So what does that mean? It means that we provided our students services, but it wasn't related to the need that we identified. So we're doing stuff, we're just not doing the stuff that SEP would do. Present levels of impact statement. Present levels include how the disability affects involvement progress in general curriculum. Present levels do not include how disabilities affect involvement progress in the general curriculum. So when we look at present levels of performance, we got to talk about if we put them in the general ed classroom, how is this meeting their requirements? How is this helping them move forward? So if no present levels are general, then there is no impact statement. And right down there at the bottom is where the impact statement should have been in the files that were reviewed. Now, I want to say they did not review every file in the county, but they do a systematic approach and pull them from schools. And this was a systemic issue of dealing with it. Annual goals specifically designed instructional for student performance. Yes, this identifies the curricular under which the action will occur and specifically designed instruction necessary for the student to perform actions. So no curricular circumstances are not stated and do not discuss specifically designed instruction. So we aren't giving goals. We aren't writing SMART goals. Basically, they're not measurable, they're not related to our job. Annual goals, which I just said, are observable, measurable, actionable, and based on student performance of the assessments we have given. And this is one thing that doing our LSIC presentation 3 times a year and having those discussions, we will be able to look at some and say, what are we doing for this? So supplemental services are not identified appropriately within present levels of performance narrative. So there was a narrative issue there where they hadn't written it out and connected it. And then special ed services identified. Appropriate special ed services are identified and justified with the PLEP. No special ed services are not identified and justified within the present levels of performance. So we identify it. We right now you can put this in, but they're not different sections of the IEP are not correlated. Does that make sense? And then placement extend the participation with non-exceptional students. Explains the extent, if any, to which the students will not participate in the general education classroom, the general education curricular, extracurricular, other non-academic activities, or 100% GEE. Does not explain the extent for which they're included in the regular ed classroom or they are given SEE services. And there's just an example of what they provided us. And this is under least restrictive environment 1. And then least restrictive environment 4, initial placement and parental consent. There were some IEPs that we did not have the parental signatures on the IEP.
You know, when you're talking about the IEPs, let's bring this back. I'm talking about this. The IEPs, I get that. It's a big deal.
Aren't our students kind of working on last year? Right now, they're still adhering to last year's IEP they had when they finished school, right?
That would not be the case so when a student gets to the end of a 316, tell me Ms. Hollingsworth. gets to an end of a period, we have to reevaluate every 365 days, have an IEP meeting and update our services. Those services have to be based on the performance level of those students. And when we write goals for those students, they have to be based upon the information that we've collected in our data over time. And in order to change that IEP, we have to have a meeting with the parents and the students available. And there has to be a parent signature, just like on any other contract that says we met and this was our decision. So some of this is clerical errors, some of this is a knowledge error, and some of this is just things that I feel like. And one of the things that will go on moving forward is the principal should be chairing every IEP committee. There absolutely positively should not be an IEP that's turned in and evaluated without a parent signature. Because we should have a process. So there should be a checklist. I mean, this, and this, they go through it. The second eyes on that, the special education teacher, I mean, this, and this, it's done, looked over. Then it's sent up here. A secretary or the director looks over it, check, we got this. And then it's entered into the computer and the file is documented appropriately. It's how that process should work, to my knowledge. So we have some tightened up on protocols and procedures across the county. We're stronger as a team, we have to work better as a team, and we have to all know that each level is doing their job as a team.
It's still an organic thing that is always evolving. And,
Correct.
So, it's like continuous wheel. I mean, it's not a stagnant
No, it's not.
document at all. That process at all.
And sometimes you can move students off an IEP. They can learn adaptive skills that they no longer need to be in that environment. But on this agenda that I handed out, we have hired a consultant, Lydia Young. I've sent her a report and I've asked her she has started her audit at Pocahontas County High School. And we have developed a customized training, a full day training for the principals. And it is listed here on day 3 of this. So after this training, we will have in process exactly what we're supposed to do, exactly how we're going to do it, and exactly when we're going to do it. And moving forward, we will not have the same issues that we have. And I really believe I have not met anyone in Pocahontas County that I feel like is not capable of doing this. I just think it's a communication and an expectation, and we will address that issue.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I didn't know you had to vote on that.
No, I just want you, but I will take questions if you have any other questions.
Any questions? No, I think you had a good point. That's right. Oh, board members remarks.
Mr. Gibson.
It's a lot.
I'm sorry.
You're allowed to.
I'm excited about it. So it seems like it's picking up exponentially quicker now that August is here. And you guys are working hard here.
We are.
I know.
Thank you.
That's really all I have. It's just busy. Mr. Payne? I'd like to thank the Green Valley Observatory again. That's going to be a great help for everybody in the whole community. I'd like to thank Dr. Williams and her staff again. Like Mr. Gibson said, it's one bite at a time. And I think you got a plan, I think you got a structure, and that's doing this the right way. And the last thing, I'd like to take a minute to recognize Coach Moore. That's passing. All of us have a coach or a teacher or somebody that has influenced us. Everyone. That's what's so great about the public education system. We have somebody that mentored us, that looked out after us, told us life's lessons. And Coach Moore did that for a lot of people. And he's going to truly be missed. I just wanted to send my thoughts up to the Terry and Paul and his family. That we're thinking of you and we're praying for you. And thanks, Coach Moore.
I like to follow one process about Coach Barber. I had first year teaching seventh grade, West Virginia history, and he was the first teacher I had that I looked at as he was a real human. The other teachers were your older teachers. The coach was, he's personal. I didn't play sports, I was sport never was, and then I worked with him at the high school for years and years. Another thing, Tim's fault this one. Because I think, I may be wrong about this, but when you do your news report on this, is there not a link on WDMR's webpage that has our whole agenda and personnel?
We usually attach that to the. Story.
Yeah, but you, the personnel, that's what I was saying.
I do. I think if you go to the list, I don't necessarily, I wasn't doing it before now. In some cases I had to, but what I said is if they want to see the entire personnel thing, do it just ago, and I just put the official agendas and sent it out, just have a link to it.
Yeah, there you go. It's out there.
Start.
Because I normally read the news story, and I thought I'd seen that on there, that it's not in the news story itself, but it's a link there that you can see the personnel.
Yeah.
I'd like to repeat, I won't repeat what Boston said. Everything said was important.
Yeah.
Appreciate the work you're doing. And, just one extra thing, that there are no teachers at school on August 2nd, 3rd, whatever. They won't be back until late in August. So,
IEPs can't be done until they come back to work.
Which is why we were scheduled to do it on August 28th. I sent my email out on first Monday in August to schedule that meeting with the.
But they're
with who
not.
I thought at the time was the director of special education. So I understand the teachers are doing other things, they're out in the classroom.
But the
That's not
director of special ed doesn't schedule the meetings.
Then who does?
Principal does. Or the special ed teacher does.
There's a special education company in Pocahontas High School.
Jenny,
I'll make that.
Jennifer, for sure.
And she's not employed at this time. She's doesn't start work until later in the last year. It was cute. Okay.
A couple of things. I think we ought to have a moment of silence for Coach Barr because he was important to a lot of us. He was a friend of mine, as he was a lot of the kids at Pocahontas High School. I never had him as a teacher, but he was a friend, and so if we could, let's just have a moment of silence for Coach Barr. Okay. Getting back to your point. It's in the Pocahontas Times, it's on the radio, anybody can watch it virtually. I don't know how else to get it out there to you if somebody resigned. If they resign, it's on the agenda. It's put out on the website. The agenda is, these meetings are streamed virtually. The Pocahontas Times, the radio, how else would we get it out there? A robocall? We're not going to do that, but I mean, that's something that would be the only other way to reach everybody in Pocahontas County.
It's also posted.
It's posted at every school. It tells you all the resignations and all the harm that we do. If you ever want to know whether somebody resigned or whether we hired somebody, you can turn in virtually and watch every meeting. That's all I have. Anybody else got anything? Okay. I do, one more thing. I do think we're going to have the job, and you know, you, not only you, but your staff. Sarah's in a new position and we appreciate that. You know, Holly's doing the job that she always does. Talking her up. And Dwayne, I'm telling you.
She's picked up the pace with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that elephant one bite at a time.
Gonna have a lot of.
Our next board meeting is hard to tell. Our next board of education will be held Tuesday, August the 19th, 2025, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Board of Education Conference Room. One more thing to add, on August the 13th, when we go to the State Board of Education, that is done virtually too. So if you can't go, and you all know the office, watch it, or whoever, watch it. It's streamed virtually. We are hereby